Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, guys. Today is August the 29th, 2021. Today I'm going to be looking at the S&P 500 where we left off on Friday. Overall, the market is pretty bullish. Going to be looking at some targets to the upside and to the downside. I'm also going to be looking at the secondary names that we have on our watch list. Names like NVDA, which also broke to all-time highs. Netflix is approaching that key resistance area at 565. Facebook is pushing higher and is approaching that all-time high territory. Also going to be looking at Zoom, which is reporting earnings on Monday, along with AMD did have a nice strong week due to the semiconductor sector, SMH pushing higher. I'm also going to be looking at Mara, which did have a strong week approaching that $41 resistance area, which is in correlation to Bitcoin. Okay. With that being said, please give this video a thumbs up if you find it beneficial. If you like it, please share it with your friends. Also, if you are interested in joining Wealthy Mentor Trading, we have a link in the description where we do have a September promo for $49.95 if you do want to start trading with us. With that being said, I do have the S&P 500 chart here. And as you guys can see here, I was looking at that 4480 mark last week at all-time highs. We did break past that. We did consolidate around that 4480 mark before breaking 4500 psychological, closing Friday session at 4513. Overall, we did push lower down to 4470, retested that all-time high section last week. Buyer stepped in and finally pushed us above 4500 psychological, which was pretty bullish. Overall, I am looking at 4520 as my entry point going into next week for potential take profits at 4530 and 4550 at a bullish market. To the downside, I do want to see $4,500 hold. If we do break $4,500, look for 4480 and 4470 as your next key areas of support, where we did have a push down last week, as I mentioned. Pretty bullish on the markets overall, guys. I don't see any weakness yet, and we haven't had any substantial pullback in about 7 months. So keep that in mind, but overall, the trend is your friend, and keep rolling with the punches as the S&P 500 is pretty much a bull right now, and I don't see any weakness whatsoever. That being said, I am going to switch over here to our watch list names, and the first name is NVDA. And here we are on the 1 hour chart here, guys, on NVIDIA. Let me just zoom in to give you guys a better outlook. And as you guys can see here, we did have a nice bull flag here, breaking out, another bull flag here, breaking out. And we are here set up once again for another bull flag, for another breakout above that 226 area. So going into tomorrow, I am looking for a break above 226 for potential take profits at 230 and 235. Overall, NVIDIA has been pretty bullish, and we do have analyst upgrades by Angus Research of $260 plus targets. So I am bullish on NVIDIA going into tomorrow. However, if we do see some sort of pullback, look for 224, 222, and 220 as your key support levels. Overall, we had a pretty strong move on NVIDIA ever since the stock split, breaking above 200, and it's swiftly gone up all the way to 226. And I don't see any weakness whatsoever with this name as long as the semiconductor sector continues to push higher, and that's SMH. SMH did have a strong week pushing to all-time highs. So as long as SMH is pushing, look for NVIDIA and corresponding names like AMD to also push. Okay, so that is NVIDIA on the hourly time frame. As I mentioned, I am bullish right now, and I don't see any sort of weakness. Look for 222, 220, and 217 as your key areas of support. Did have some support here at 217, and we did have some support here at 220. Okay, so that is NVIDIA on the 1 hour time frame. Next name I want to look at is Netflix, NFLX. And I am going to switch over here on Netflix on the 4 hour time frame. Actually, yes, the 4 hour time frame would work here. So 565 is a key area for me. As you guys can see here, we did have multiple rejections on 565 going back to February 2021. We also had a rejection over here back in April, over here back in July, and once more here in August. So this week I am looking for a break above that 565 area. If we do break above that, look for 570 and 576 as key targets to the upside. Now, with Netflix, it has some fundamental news behind its recent push. It is trying to make its way into mobile gaming, and to me, that's a great catalyst for potential tests of all-time highs. However, the volume hasn't been the greatest with Netflix recently, so that's also a concerning factor. So if you are trading Netflix, look for that 265 area to break convincing volume. Now to the downside, if we cannot break 265 and receive another rejection just like the past, I am looking at that 552, 542, and 536 areas as key support levels. Okay. Overall, I am neutral on Netflix. I like to see that 565 area break. Okay. Another name that I'm going to be looking at is Facebook. And to me, that's relevant because we are approaching that all-time highs. Going to zoom in here for you guys. And you guys can see here, we are pushing higher. We did leave Friday's session pretty bullish, just below that 374 area. We do have all-time highs at 377, a bunch of consolidation here and a lot of rejections. So above 374, or if you want to be a safer trader, the top of this wick at 377 would be my entry point for potential take profits at 380 and 384. Overall, I would like to see the break above 374 with some convincing volume, hopefully a catalyst such as an analyst upgrade or some sort of news event to push this forward. Now to the downside, we do have strong support at that 365 area. This was previous resistance now turns support. So if we are looking down on weakness, look for 365 to hold and buyers to step in at 365 to push this back up. Like to see 374 hold, so that is an area for me going into next week for a blue sky breakout. Another name that I want to look at today is Zoom, and that is of interest for me because they are reporting earnings on Monday after the close. And recently we did have analyst upgrades on Zoom of $400. So, you know, if we do get past that 356 area, we did have a huge rejection over here on last week, you can pretty much say that we can probably hit 366, 374, or even 400 on an earnings beat to retest this area where we got rejected here back on August the 5th, 2021. Overall, I'm neutral on Zoom. Zoom and names like Peloton have really been suffering recently just due to the whole, you know, everyone's going back to work, the pandemic's getting better in terms of stores opening up, schools being utilized in class. So names like Zoom haven't been in demand as much as they were during the whole pandemic. So I'm kind of iffy on it, not really bullish or bearish, just kind of neutral. I do want to see the break above a break above 356 for potential retest of 366, 374 and above. Now to the downside, we do have support at that 325 area and 315. So overall, if we do break that 330 area, look for tests at 325, 315 as key support levels. Okay, that is Zoom on the 4-hour time frame, and they do report earnings on Monday after the close. Another name I want to look at is AMD. And here we are on AMD. We did have a nice week last week, mostly due in part due to the semiconductor sector, SMH having a big recovery and pushing to all-time highs. We did have strong support here at that 102 level where buyers did step in and push it all the way up to that 112 area. Going into next week, I want to see some convincing volume, break that 112 area for potential retests of 115 and 119 are my bullish targets to the upside. Now to the downside, if we break 109, look for tests of support at 107 and 105.5, where we did have some strong support here at 107, and buyers did step in and hold that area for potential push to that 112 breaking point. Like I said, I do want to see SMH continue to push higher. So names like AMD, and NVIDIA will definitely feast on that. AMD, if it breaks that 112 area, it could potentially even push to all-time highs. Sometimes it likes to be correlating to NVIDIA. So your main thing to look at for next week is that semiconductor section, SMH, to push higher. Another name that I want to speak of is Mara. MARA is the ticker. And here we are, Mara, on the 4-hour time frame. And this name is significant to me because it is related to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is holding that level around that $50,000 mark. And if Bitcoin does push above $50,000, look for Mara to break that $41 area for potential tests at $46.50 and $50. Pretty bullish on Mara overall. However, I do want to see $41 break. That is a big point for me. Now, as I mentioned, those areas to the upside are my targets. Now, to the downside, if we do see some weakness on Bitcoin, I do see 37.5 as key support and $35 as the next key level. Mara, names like Riot are all correlated to each other, along with Bitcoin being the leader of the pack. And if you do see some strong price action in Bitcoin, look for those two names to also push. Mara and Riot are part of our swing trading watch list names at Wealthy Mentor Trading. So these are one of the names that our traders get privy to with targets, as you can see on the screen here today. Overall, guys, I'm pretty bullish on the markets, and there's no weakness whatsoever on the S&P 500. So please keep these names in hand going into next week. And to give you guys a recap, NVIDIA had a very strong week last week. We are all-time highs. Netflix is approaching that 565 resistance. Facebook is pushing higher and is reaching all-time high territory. Watch over that 374, 377 area. Zoom is reporting earnings on Monday, as I mentioned. We do have Morgan Stanley analyst upgrades of 400. Also, AMD inched higher due to the semiconductor sector area for that break of 112. Also, Mara, as I just mentioned here, in correlation to Bitcoin, look for a break above that $41 area. And guys, just a reminder, if you are interested in our Wealthy Mentor Trading Discord group, we have a link in the bio and a September promo for $49.95 if you want to join us and start with us right away. With that being said, thanks guys for joining in this week. I know it was a short video. I am kind of under the weather this week, so let's just give it all we got this week and do the best we can in trading and hopefully make some money. Thanks, guys. See you guys next week. Bye.